Yes, I'm really glad you came to this podcast. With all the pleasure, with all the pleasure. That Phoenix really is my soul band. Mine too. Yes, and the very first Romanian rock band that drew my attention to the genre, so... And me too. I was 4 years old. I was 4 years old. Imagine that it was 1985 when I first heard them, and since then I haven't looked back. I was getting, in an interview I gave 6, 7, 8 years ago, I got this question. Now that you've reached the forefront of Romanian rock music, what are you doing? Where do you dream of going next? Who do you want to sing with? And I answered directly, clearly, concisely. With no one. I'm already where I dreamed of being. Where in fact I didn't even dare to dream of being. Because my meeting with Nico was simply random. I didn't do anything in that sense. I didn't parasitize Nicolae Covaci's tables. I didn't go over to him abusively, no. Yes, because over time I saw how people sought him out and proposed to him, and he received dozens and dozens of variations of a song from people who rightly wanted to sing and join in. Well, that wasn't the case with me. With me, it just happened organically, yes. Well, when something is meant to be, things arrange by themselves. Exactly. How do you see the duty of taking the Phoenix Band forward? I mean, and now there's such a question. Do you see yourself passing the duty forward in a few decades to a coming generation of a young Phoenix? Absolutely. You know that more than once after Nicolae left the physical realm, we received this question. What are you going to do next? How are you going to move forward? And it's in the nature of things. Since one of his last wishes was for us to move forward, we took it and considered it as a mission. And that's exactly what we are doing. Myself and Christy and our colleagues, we are trying to carry on exactly as we received, as unaltered as we can, this message. And the answer to your question is yes. In the moment I won't, and we won't be able to continue, someone has to go forward to carry on. It's a cultural legacy of 64 years already, my dear. It's no longer a simple band, it's no longer, a project. It's a legacy that doesn't belong to us. It belongs to everyone. It belongs to the Romanian people. That we were the ones chosen by Nicolae to carry this forward. Most likely we will choose, when the time will come, children to carry it forward. Romania cannot be left without Phoenix. That's what people told me after the concerts. Don't leave our children without Phoenix. And it was honoring on the one hand, and like a fact of responsibility on the other. So I think I answered your question. Yes, it's a bit emotional. Honestly, I feel like crying. I mean, I think like that, that the next generations, as Stefan the Great said, Moldova is not yours, it belongs to the descendants of the descendants. Yes. So Phoenix is of the descendants of the descendants, and so on. It can be considered true, yes. At least that's how I see things, and that's how I've always seen them. Because I repeat, in the final analysis, nothing belongs to us. We have a duty to pass it on, especially when there's a history behind it, and what a history. Do you know what surprises me? The fact that up until now no director has been found to make a feature film about this. Because it's fabulous. The whole story, the one iterated in Nicolae Covaci's books, and the story is told by colleagues from the golden generation, from Țăndărică, Joji Capel, Mircea Baniciu, Erland Krauser, people who lived some very interesting stories. They should be interviewed, especially now that we still have the honor of having them, and someone should take the reins and make a feature film based on the history of the Phoenix Band. It would be very interesting. Feature film or documentary? Not a documentary. Documentaries exist. Yes. Look, for example, Dorionescu made Integrala Phoenix, which is available on YouTube. And there you can find absolutely the entire history of the band, told by each one individually, but focused obviously on Nicolae Covaci. It's a superb story which we as a nation should be very proud to have and to be able to tell further. And there are obviously Nicolae Covaci's books with more or less subjectivity, because ultimately, when we tell a story, each of us is as subjective as possible. But there are things that can be proven there. And the evolution over time is clear and well determined, even though it is read, even though the volumes can be read exactly as a reading, as an interesting novel. Yes, the truth is, it would be, and it is a big responsibility for someone to make this film. And look, you really gave me an idea. Yes, I'm glad. It is, I mean, there are documentaries, that's a bunch of them. No, documentary films are no longer the case. An artistic film through which we can actually have the characters and have the greatness. Considering, I repeat, that the information is at hand and it just needs to be verticalized. Said yes and started the project. Yes, let's see who and how. On this occasion, if anyone watching is interested, a discussion along these lines would be appropriate. Yes, look, I'd be interested too. I actually have now film directing, film studies. You see, nothing by accident. But it isn't easy to find the actors, the right characters. Well, my dear, let me say green in the face. Things arrange by themselves, if that is. Green directly. Green not in the face but online. If there is money, anything can be done. So anyone who is interested in putting their shoulder to the wheel and supporting this, I am convinced that they would have a gain in image and a place in history. Beyond the image gain, there is a legacy that must be carried forward, and yes, also in this way. Yes. No, it's not an easy road, because in itself it's hard to count to 62, 63, but let there be years in which you count events, evolution. It is a human life, and more than that, that can be stalled. So it's a subject that I don't know if we can exhaust by sitting like this, you and I, for maybe 2 years. I was and I'm part of this practically in the last carriage, but there are dozens of carriages ahead. That's going to be more after that, right? That's exactly what we were talking about earlier with, yes, passing it on the next generations. So that's right. Shoot. Well, the first question, which is more universal, how would you define art and what does art mean to you? Infinite. It is that simple. Art is infinite. And now it divides into 2 branches, like absolutely everything. The one that stands the test of time and the one that doesn't stand the test of time. Art in itself is infinite, like the sky, like basically anything. A speck of dust passing by can be a source of inspiration for a story. And from here, extrapolating, you can go on with this story infinitely. It is very difficult to define art. Art is a state. It is a state and, from my point of view, the most important component of a healthy education. I believe that art history should not only be in specialized schools, it should be a constant, especially at the beginning for children. Using your imagination, exercising your imagination from an artistic point of view, I suppose it is a proof of extraordinary development and a starting point. Ați folosi imaginația și ați exercita imaginația din punct de vedere artistic, presupun că este o dovadă de dezvoltare extraordinară și un punct de plecare. Yes, art equals infinity. That's what I could say it means. How would you define music? And if you could tell about the importance of music in your life? Importance? Yes. It is part of every day. It is essential. It is just like air, just like water, just like, everything I do in a day is directly and indirectly related to music. Yes, likewise, it is very difficult to give a definition. Modus vivendi, that's what I would say. Art, music is a way of living for me. Because I repeat, there aren't, I think, 15 or 20 minutes of my day when I don't identify with it and don't do something in that sense.